Hi everybody, welcome to a new playthrough video. Today we are trying to deduce who did what, where, when. Yeah, we're playing Kronologic. I am very excited. The reason I bought this game is I did already see it around quite a bit and I was very curious, but I could never find a English copy, only Dutch ones, and I thought it would be more language dependent, which it really isn't, but hey, I didn't know that. But the reason I finally decided to find it somewhere in English is because Jenna from the Board Game Garden did a solo focus for January and it was all about deduction games. So I was very excited about that and I played this a bunch in January. I know it's February now, but what can we do? All right, time goes so fast and I wish I had more time to upload videos every week, but it's just, you know, normal life sadly, and work is also a thing. But I'm very excited to play this with you guys today. I've been really enjoying it and I'm also just really excited to share my thoughts with you guys. So I'll do that at the end of the video. And yeah, without much further ado, let's go. So here we have Kronologic. I've already played through the entirety of the first scenario, I guess I would say. So we are trying the second one today together. So let's open it up. We have here the map of the opera, which we see again here, but in 6 smaller versions. So this is one big map, which is fun to use. So let's see. We have here scenario number 2, the Phantom of the Opera. Several dramatic accidents have occurred at the opera. The collapse of the great chandelier in the gallery and the recent discovery of the cadaver of a young stagehand have fueled a crazy rumor. It must be the work of the Phantom of the Opera. It's up to you to unmask this phantom. The phantom is very discreet. This is the only character who will be alone in a room at every time in the evening. Ooh, who is the phantom? So the first scenario, we had a poisoning incident where we knew that the detective was poisoned and we had to find someone who was alone with the detective at some point during the night or the day, I guess, 1 to 6, I guess 1 p.m. to 6 p.m. And now I think we'll have to find someone who is alone the whole night through, so we have to look for something different, which I do like. I was wondering if that would be the case or if it would be the same type of thing. So we are doing obviously the first scenario. So we have these cards, which I will put I guess I'll put them here. I mean, they'll get mixed up a bit, which is fine, but these are the 6 locations that we have here, and they have a corresponding symbol. Besides that, we have 6 time cards, so for all of the 6 times, and we have 6 character cards, because we have the adventurer, the chauffeur, we have the servant, the journalist, the detective, and the baroness. So one of these 6 is the phantom in this instance. All right, let's go over this real quick. In this scenario, use all of the time play cards and character play cards. We have those. Each character must move at each time and always to an adjacent location. No character stays in the same location 2 times. No, we know this. All right, so we have the setup for our first investigation. The solution is on the back, so we're not gonna look, but we're gonna write down this setup in our number 1 time frame. So the chauffeur will be the C, the journalist is the J, the adventurer is here, the baroness, the detective, and the servant. So that is our chapter 1 setup. Let me just place that here. So what we are now supposed to do is we are supposed to find out, in this instance, who is the phantom. And by doing so, we'll need to look at the different times, see who's where. And in the solo version, every time I use a card to check something. It's like asking a question, and we mark that on our sheet just in the corner, and the number of times we ask questions, we compare that to the score sheet. So it's like golf, basically, like we need to ask the least amount of questions before solving, and the higher the score will be. So that is how we'll do it. The differences between checking, so let's just check the Baroness. Where should we check her? She starts here, so she could have either moved towards this place, which is the gallery, or she could have gone to the dance hall or the music hall. So let's check the Baroness at the gallery. So what this is going to show us is it's going to show us the amount of times that the Baroness visited the gallery, and sometimes a time that she was there. So we place it like that, flip it. All right, so we know the Baroness visited the gallery once. So I'm going to put a 1 right here at her space. And we know that she was there at 2. So I'm going to put the B for Baroness there. So we know she moved that way. And as the rules stated, there is, let me think. So she moved there, which means now she could have moved back, or she could have moved to the grand foyer here or the entrance hall, but she has to move to an adjacent room. She can't stay there. So the 3 o'clock mark, it won't have her in the gallery because she can't stay in the same spot. She has to move, but she could have moved back to the stage. She could have, we don't know. So that's basically the rules of movement. So what we could do for fun is we'll check, let's do 2 o'clock. And we'll check the gallery to see if someone was there. So we asked one question for now. So one person was there and was the Baroness. So she was there by herself. So she's definitely still suspicious for us. Definitely a suspect for sure. So with the detective case in the first scenario where he was poisoned, after like 2 scenarios, I really felt like I had a strategy to see, because you were really focused on the location of the detective. So you kind of had a goal, but now that I feel like I have less of a focus point, because it could be any of them, and I don't have any one person to really focus on, or a location to focus on. So what should we do is the question here. I guess we're just gonna have to check some things. I guess because I've done the Baroness now, we'll try to see if we can discover a little bit more about her. So let's do the Baroness and the stage. We know she started there, but did she maybe move back there? No, so she was only there once at the start, and it shows this redo. So if this was a multiplayer, I would be able to go again a second time. For us, it doesn't really matter because it will still count as a question. So let's do the, what's that, the grand foyer or something? The grand staircase. So let's see, she went there twice. So grand staircase twice, and she was there at 3. So supposedly, because we know she went to the gallery once, we know for a fact that she went into the entrance hall, I think it's called. That's the grand foyer. I apologize. So she went into the grand foyer at 4, went back into the grand staircase probably, but then back to the foyer because she only went once through the gallery. So let me mark that question because I'm going to forget to mark the questions I already know. So she went back here at 5, but then at 6, she must have moved back to the grand foyer again. She doesn't have a choice. So let's check that. I'm really writing this down for a fact, but I think I'm right on that. So let's do 6 o'clock. and do the grand staircase. So, ooh, there were 2 people there, one of which is the adventurer. And we kind of know for sure that the Baroness went there. So the Baroness is innocent and the adventurer is innocent. So I'm gonna just mark them off. Because I feel like we would be wasting our time to double check if the Baroness really did go this way. But we know she went to the gallery once and she really didn't have anywhere else to go. All right, so we're gonna go and zoom in on another suspect. Who should we zoom in on? Should we maybe do the detective? Is he like being rogue? Interesting. That could be the case. Oh, we don't know. So the detective, where is he? There he is. Let's see. He started out in the dance hall. So let's just, let's check the music hall. All right. Ooh, he never went to the music hall. Interesting. Okay. No music hall. So then he must have gone to the stage. Didn't really have another choice then. And he even went there twice. And once at 2. Awesome. So he could have moved back into the music hall. So let's check the music hall. Ooh, he did go there twice. The music hall. And then he must have moved back into the stage at 4. So that's 2 questions I think I asked. This is what I mean. Let's check 4 o'clock at the stage. Just because I want to see. I hope I've been holding these up right. Maybe not. Ooh, he was there by himself. All right. Suspicious. So let's do the dance hall at 3. He was there by himself. We definitely are needing more questions here than in the first scenario. So I'm suspicious of the detective for sure now. We don't know where he went. I mean, I could still check 2 o'clock. Should I just do that just to be safe? 2 o'clock at the stage. Just to make sure. Yep. By his lonesome. All right. Very suspicious of this man. So let's check. So we know he didn't go to the dance hall. He must have gone to the gallery next. Because we know, what do we know? We know he went to the stage twice. We have that. We know he went to the dance hall twice. We have that. So he went into the gallery. So we're gonna check 5 o'clock at the gallery. Ooh, sad. 2 people with the adventurer. So it's not the detective. Damn it. I feel like maybe this would have a better strategy if I've played it a couple times, because I feel like I'm too... I'm just guessing, you know? When I was doing the poison trial, I'm just gonna call it that, I had more of a plan, more of a strategy, which right now I don't really have that as much. So I'm just going through them one by one, you know? Maybe I should just check some random time moments for fun. So we haven't really checked out 6 o'clock a lot. And I feel, so we have the journalist left as a suspect. We have 3 suspects left, basically. These 3. So I feel like I should focus on them more, though. So the servant was there. Is she the one who did it? Let's check the stage. She was there once at 6. Interesting. Once at the stage. One time. So she went back and forth here all the time then. So she just went there, 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 and then towards the stage. So she's been hopping back and forth like a maniac. So let's check 6 o'clock at the stage. She was there by herself. Ew, a servant would be suspicious of being the Phantom, wouldn't she? So let's check the music hall at 5. Let's just go through. Oh, I haven't been keeping track. I definitely did 2. At 5 is what I said. She was there by herself. The music hall. There she is. Let's check another one. The dance place at 4. 4 o'clock. There we go. Ooh, I'm just gonna call it. I'm gonna call it. Shall we see? I might be completely wrong, but I'm gonna call it. Okay. So let's see. Yes, it was the servant. There she is. So this is how you kind of... So the detective was alone a lot. Which, yeah. So interesting. The Phantom was the servant, Suzanne, the unfortunate victim of a seductive predator. She won't be appeased with her tormentor until her tormentor is punished. Oh, so she was doing like a revenge move. And this would be the setup for the second scenario. So, yeah. I think I'm just going to play on a bit by myself right now, because they are quite short. Oh, and let's look at our score. I think we did like 13 or 14 questions, maybe. So, the Phantom. Oh, still pretty good. Still like the golden... We might have gone 15 or 16 maybe, but let's just say I did 15 questions and we're up in the top. So you can tell that the other scenario, the questions were much fewer questions were needed compared to this one, which makes sense. I'm curious to see the third scenario as well. So let me know if you want to see how the third scenario plays. I could wait with playing that for sure, because I have the whole of the second scenario to go through. So every scenario has 5 levels. So scenario 2 goes all the way, I needn't look, to number 5. So they all have 5 levels in them. So this is the first one, the poison one. And this is the third one, which is apparently the Singer's Jewels. So a robbery maybe instead of, a murder. So that's Kronologic. I really, really enjoy this game. I think it's so fun. The camera cut off, so I'm not sure where I left off. And I do feel like I would have loved there to be a second map, because that's the only thing about this game that I feel gets a little bit... not tedious, but, the layout of the opera, while you're playing, you know the layout and that's it. So I would have loved maybe a second map of a different location for a scenario. But yeah, I don't know. We are getting these 2 games, which I'm very excited about. So they're doing like an Aztec one and like a futuristic one, which I'm excited for both of those. When I first got this game, I heard so many good things about it, but when I was playing the first scenario, I was like, I'm not sure if this is completely my thing. But the more I played and the more you get into like the deduction, and it feels so good when you make the connections and you're just like, oh my God, he went there and there, like we did today, when the servant only went into the theater once, or into the stage once at 6, we know she went like hopping in between those 2 locations because she couldn't have gone anywhere else. So that's what I really enjoy about this. And I do feel like there's a lot in the box. The 3 scenarios do give you quite a bit of playtime. I do think if you only play solo, you will fly through it and it won't be that much playtime. But I do think that even though it's a deduction game, which usually the replayability of a deduction game is on the lower end, because when you know the solution, you know the solution. But even now, so I played through the whole of scenario 1 in one sitting about a week and a half ago, I think. And already now, thinking back, I'm like, I wouldn't know the exact solution to those scenarios anymore. Truly. So playing it again with friends, I think it would be very fun to try. And it's very easy. So even with a bigger friend group that don't play games too often, I think it would be very fun. I do think, yeah, it's only for 1 to 4 players, so it should be a smaller group. But I do think people who don't play games a lot, this would also be perfect for, because it's quite simple. And so every turn when you, in the multiplayer, so for example, oh, that's not a good example. Let's see. So if we do this, in the multiplayer, you will tell everybody that at 4 o'clock there was one person in the dance hall, and this information, that the fact that that person was the servant, you keep that information for yourself. So every turn, even when it's not your turn, you will get some information. So I do like that aspect where the whole entirety of the game, you get new information, you're trying to decipher what's going on, and the person who figures that out first obviously wins. So I do really want to play this with friends because I think it would be very fun. And as I've said, so I think with this game, the replayability is a bit higher than I would expect from a deduction game, which I do think is very good. And I do feel like I would love trying another scenario and see what they maybe add or do differently from this one. So yeah, let me know if you enjoyed this, and we'll see each other again soon. Hopefully with a new video. All right, thanks so much for watching. Bye.